Akash woke up in sheer shock. He was lying on an operating table. He'd thought he'd been rescued, but little did he know, his saviors were only after his kidneys. The black market doctor had tricked him onto the table under the pretense of a checkup. Right before the procedure, the doctor answered a call from home, accidentally mentioning he was about to perform surgery, and that's when the truth hit Akash. Panicked, he struggled violently, but the lottery lady and her driver husband pinned him down while the doctor injected him with a sedative. Desperate to survive, Akash screamed before losing consciousness, "I swear on the Shiva tattoo on your arm, I'll give you 10 million rupees." The lady froze the doctor mid-swing. The money didn't faze her, but how Akash knew about her tattoo left her baffled. By some miracle, he'd cheated death. When he woke, the lady grilled him about the tattoo and the money, and Akash spilled his plan. Meanwhile, Simi returned home to find Akash teaching her stepdaughter piano. As he left, she pretended to offer him a ride, luring him into her car before calling the burly inspector to meet her in the hills, determined to finish him off there. On the way, Akash begged Simi to pay for his eye treatment, but she dodged the question. Suddenly, an auto rickshaw honked and zoomed past only to reappear ahead, blocking the road. Seizing the chance, Akash pressed a chloroform-soaked cloth over Simi's mouth, knocking her out. He honked, and the lottery lady and her husband emerged from the rickshaw. Next, Akash posed as a private detective and called the inspector's wife. He claimed he'd been investigating Simi for Pramod Sinha, exposing her affair with the inspector, and that the inspector had killed Sinha for 10 million rupees. "Pay me the same amount, or I'll leak everything to the media," he threatened, giving her until morning to decide. The group then drove Simi's car to the river where Sinha's body had been found, staging a fake lover's suicide. The story blew up in the news. Sinha's daughter told reporter Simi had been last seen with Akash, who was now also missing. Watching the coverage, Sophie was confused. Had they run away together? Back at the clinic, the doctor drew Simi's blood to test for a corneal match with Akash. If it worked, he'd transplant her eyes into Akash. They then coerced Simi into confessing the details of Sinha and the elderly lady's murders, recording it on a phone to use as leverage. The next morning, the inspector's wife called the lady to set up a meeting. She handed her husband a gun, telling him to clean up his mess. But as soon as the lady and her husband left to collect the money, they betrayed Akash, tying him up. He was no longer needed. Simi mocked him from across the room. All that trouble, just to do someone else's dirty work. But they were now in the same boat, so Simi inched closer, offering to untie him if he'd remove her blindfold. He agreed, and once her vision returned, Simi took control. She ordered him around aimlessly while inching toward a table with surgical scissors, cutting her own bonds free. With her hands loose, Simi grabbed a cane and beat Akash relentlessly. He was defenseless without his sight. Just as she was about to kill him, the doctor's voice echoed from outside. He opened the door, froze at the sight of Akash on the floor, and was immediately knocked out by Simi's cane. She chased him outside, grabbing a scalpel and stabbing wildly. Akash stumbled toward the commotion, tackling Simi to save the doctor, who quickly chloroformed her again. Meanwhile, the lady rushed to the hospital with the driver, hoping to save her husband, but it was too late. She'd thought the backpack was full of money, but it was just blank paper. They'd been tricked by the inspector. At the abandoned building where the ransom was supposed to be exchanged, the inspector tossed a backpack into the elevator and raced up the stairs. The driver grabbed the bag, only to be ambushed by the inspector. He fled, but the inspector shot him in the neck, killing him instantly. The inspector tortured the dying driver to find the lady's location, then took the elevator up. As the elevator rose, the driver managed to alert the lady, who cut the power, trapping the inspector inside. Enraged and irrational, he fired his gun at the elevator doors only for a bullet to ricochet and hit him. His fate remained unknown.